These are your tax dollars, and this is sick. And it's in the Daily Mail. You won't hear this in the American media. Meanwhile, the pressure's on. Left-wing kook elites, the pressure's on. They want Ruth Bader Ginsburg to retire. She's old, she's fragile, from time to time she's sickly. They want her to get off. So, they can put some young person on there so they can rule over us for the next 40 years. This is in an op-ed by Erwin Chemerinsky, Dean of the UC Irvine School of Law. Right, Erwin? And he goes in part, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg should retire from the Supreme Court after the completion of the current term in June. She turned 81 on Saturday. By all accounts, she's healthy and physically and mentally able to continue, but only by resigning this summer can she ensure that a Democratic president will be able to choose a successor who shares her views and values. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court, in too few cases, is it actually about applying the Constitution. In way, way too many cases, it's about advancing the leftist agenda without any recourse from you and me. And so this dean of law, UC Irvine School of Law, he gets it. Hey, we got to put a few more of our hacks on there so they can have lifetime appointments and decide all kinds of issues. A great deal, he writes, turns on who picked. Now, keep in mind, this guy's the dean of this law school, but this is what he writes. Very busy man. Great deal turns on who picks Ginsburg's successor. There are, for example, 4 likely votes to overturn Roe v. Wade on the current court. If a Republican president selects Ginsburg's replacement, by the way, I doubt, he says Roberts, Scalia, Thomas, Alito. I'm not so sure about Roberts. If a Republican president selects Ginsburg's replacement, that justice could easily be the 5th vote, and then they do all their fear-mongering on the left, for the left. Oh, they might do this, they might do this, they might do this. She's an old bag. Get off. We need somebody young on there. But thanks for your service. There will likely be many calls, publicly and privately, for Justice Ginsburg to resign before Obama leaves the White House. I know, because I'm orchestrating it. I added that. To prevent the risk of a Republican being able to appoint her successor. Why is that, Dean? Republicans appoint a lot of justices, and it turns out that they sell out. But simply leaving before the next election isn't enough. Oh, what else? If Ginsburg waits until 2016 to announce her retirement, there's a real chance Republicans would delay the confirmation process to block an outgoing president from being able to fill a vacancy on the Supreme Court. In fact, the process for confirming nominees for judicial vacancies usually largely shuts down the summer before a presidential election. See, so crucial is the Supreme Court to the left. It's one thing to win elections and advance the ball. One thing to control the bureaucracy and advance the ball. It's one thing to control our educational institutions and advance the ball, but the court. Because like a bunch of trained seals, we believe that the court should always have the final word. And they know that. So long as the Democrats control the Senate, Obama can have virtually anyone he wants confirmed for the Supreme Court. Hey, cool. There's been only one filibuster against a Supreme Court nominee, and that was to block Justice Abe Fortas's elevation to the Chief Justice, not to block his initial appointment. There were 48 votes against Thomas and 42 against Alito, but Democrats filibustered neither. Besides, if Democrats had control of the Senate, they could change the rules to eliminate that. He's got it all figured out. By hook or by crook, the ends justifies the means. Ginsburg, get out of the way. We'll grease the skids. We'll screw the filibuster rule. Don't worry. We're going to get the most radical we can on the court. In the end, the only way to ensure that Obama can pick someone who will carry on Ginsburg's tradition is for the vacancy to occur this summer. Indeed, hold on, he's doubling down. Justice Stephen G. Breyer will turn 76 this summer. He should also carefully consider the possibility of stepping down. Yes! It's time to send our old people away. You know how we used to respect our elderly? No. Get them off the court. We can have somebody replacing Breyer, replacing Ginsburg. They'll be there forevermore. They'll outlive all the rest of us. Let's double down. Not only should Ginsburg go, but Breyer too. Some might question whether a justice should be so calculating in choosing when to retire, but not doing so ignores the reality that ideology matters enormously in Supreme Court decision-making, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This guy thinks he's so smart. Erwin, you're not so smart. You make my case, Erwin. for a convention of the states to have a reform amendment to the Constitution that in the end empowers 3/5 of the state legislatures to overturn a majority opinion of the Supreme Court. Because, Erwin, you're right, it is very ideological. I am noticing a trend, by the way, on this issue, Convention of the States. It's troubling me a great deal. They're getting behind one amendment, balanced budget and limiting spending, and that's it. And while that's important, ladies and gentlemen, fundamentally, that is not going to reestablish our constitutional system. It's just not. Now, I don't even know if they'll muster in the end enough state legislatures to do that. I think they can. And I'd rather them do that than nothing, that's for sure, because it's quite obvious that this spending is catastrophic, and the day will come where we do pay for it, or our children do. But it really isn't enough to reestablish our constitutional system. And in a few days, I'll go through this whole process again, because still we have the know-nothings out there, led by the John Birch Society with their really cool website, The New American, just full of lies, just spewing and burping lie after lie after lie. And so once again, I have to unravel all this.